Yeah, that'll do it.
Then Norton's blocking everything, so it can't. Everything's freaking out because all these fucking spyware programs want to run, and Norton's keeping them from running.
No, you can't spy. I'm the only one that can spy. That's the way that works.
Yeah, or not Norton, McAfee. Sorry, McAfee.
Yeah. See, and he's dead allegedly, quote unquote dead.
Yeah.
See, that's why.
Yeah, I don't know, but it was just like as soon as I installed McAfee, like initially it was fine, and then suddenly it started bogging down, and like I kept getting notifications of programs closing unexpectedly that were like after I removed a bunch of shit using McAfee, and I like didn't recognize any of the programs that kept closing unexpectedly, and I'm like, probably because I removed a bunch of your registry info using McAfee.
Yeah. Fuck you, government spying. You gotta steal it off the internet like the rest of the people.
Yeah.
So, yes, we have.
Really pretty boring to spy on these days.
We have one person watching.
Woohoo!
One single. Woohoo! Hello, unidentified user.
Well, I mean, we've only been streaming for a minute and a half, so
that's true. And we were almost on time, which means they won't be here for like another 7 or 8 minutes.
Probably, yeah.
Which is the normal start time.
I tell you what, this is a weird beer.
What is it?
Miami Vice.
Miami Vice.
Yeah, it's from 608, one of the local microbreweries to me, and it's a coconut, strawberry, and pineapple fruited sour. So you get like the sweet.
Hold on. Repeat that again.
Coconut, strawberry, pineapple fruited sour.
Did you have to walk through an empty Senate room in order to get that beer?
It's delicious.
Okay.
I love fruited sours. The problem is that this one is extremely sour, and with the coconut, you get like the extreme sweetness up front on the coconut, like as you first swallow it, and then immediately as you swallow it, it turns hyper sour. So you're like, because it comes out of nowhere and off of a ton of sweetness. Woof.
Hashtag that's what she said.
Not the worst I've ever had. I had one sour, and I can't remember where I got it from, but like every drink I took, I was making the super sour face, like every single drink. And Lindsay, who can't take sour stuff at all, was like, well, let me try. And I'm like, okay. And she was just like,
curled up in that little Lindsay ball.
Yeah. And she's like, why? And I'm like, I don't know, but it's actually kind of addictive. Like, I really like sour stuff.
Sadist.
My daughter does too, though. She always has. Like, since she was little, she loves like I can remember her being like 7 years old and begging for a bag of the atomic warheads or whatever.
Yeah. It's like the videos of the little kids eating lemons and they keep going back to the lemon.
Yep.
Which is
that
hilarious.
Kid's gonna like sour stuff. As they grow up, they're gonna be like, yeah, this stuff's great.
Yeah, no sour stuff for me. I'm not a big fan. Well, okay, I'm a little bit, right? Like I'm not a big lemon fan, but like raspberries I'm a fan, but not lemons.
Raspberries are tart, not so much sour.
Tart. Yeah. Tart, not sour.
Yep. Oh. It just hits you right in the back of the throat, man.
Also what she said.
And what those congressional aides probably said.
God, I am so sick of seeing screenshots from that video. Republicans, conservatives, Christians, stop sharing gay porn.
Yeah,
stop
like
it.
I mean, far more than anybody else. They're the ones going, look at this, look at it. Why would I want to see that? I don't understand. Like, why?
It was posted on social media. Okay. He will not be shamed by you posting that.
Yeah.
The left, the people that support him are not going to be shamed. They're not going to be upset. They're not going to go, oh my God, that was so stupid of him. They're not going to do that. Stop sharing gay porn.
Like, if you want to see man ass over and over and over again in your news feed, then by all means, conservatives continue to share that. But I'm gonna unfriend you.
Yes. Yes, that is the unfollow button on Twitter has been my friend.
I mean, I don't really follow anybody who I would call yeah, that was interesting. Yeah. We're just setting the stage correctly for the rest of the episode.
Yeah. It's only gonna go downhill. You're welcome.
rapidly from here. But like I don't really follow any real political personalities anymore. I don't pay any attention to any of them. Like I follow Peterson and purely for meme potential. You know, and like maybe a couple of other people, but like it's all for memes, just so that I know what I can meme next.
Yeah, I think I the only politician, like the actual politician I follow is Thomas Massey. And that's because, well, first off, Thomas Massey's pretty based. But if anything like real big is going on, he'll talk about it. He'll post about it.
Yeah.
Right. Other than that, it's just him shitting on big government, which I'm a fan of.
Well, yeah, I mean that's always fun to watch. But it's just the problem is that it, like I've noticed that every single one of these personalities, if you try to follow them for a while, like eventually you start running into cult of personality types that are all over them, where they can say no wrong and everything they say, you know, they're like, yes, absolutely. And like, yeah, okay, I might agree with somebody like 90% of the time, but there's going to be at least 10% of the shit that they spout that I'm going to be like, they're a moron.
Yes.
So
yes,
I don't know what to tell you, man. Like there's been times like I can remember a while back before the night of the silent birds, as I like to call it.
Accurate.
When we all got the mass banning on Twitter and out of nowhere and for no reason, that nobody got an explanation.
Yeah. I never got an explanation for my Facebook delete either.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mine was over a meme that I had posted 3 months prior. I mean, that's what finally got me my permaban on my first account. Like,
yeah, they didn't even give me that. They ignored my appeal, ignored my request.
Yeah, I mean, like Twitter, like we all just got deleted all at once. All of a sudden, like we all woke up to just not having an account, and it wasn't even like it was like you're banned. It was just your account ceased to exist.
Yes, ghost.
And we all got that, right? There was like thousands and thousands of us that got it. Yeah. And so none of us could appeal, none of us could nothing, because all of a sudden our accounts simply disappeared. They just ceased to exist. But like prior to that, you know, like I followed Shoe on Head. And like, because she occasionally says crap that I laugh pretty hard at. And like, so that's why I followed her. And like, and her constantly wearing the FBI jackets to events definitely makes me smile a bit. And like, but that's why I followed her. And then I like caught a bunch of crap from a bunch of people for following her. And I'm like, what? Because I follow somebody automatically I agree with them?
Yeah.
Like, I don't agree with 3/4 of the lefty crap she spews, but occasionally she says things that are hysterical.
Yeah.
So
I follow the Babylon Bee. That doesn't mean I'd take it seriously. Although sometimes they are more right than.
Yeah, sometimes the only difference between the only thing that separates parody from regular news reporting is about 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah, sadly. Which that's disturbing.
Well, I mean, it's like this whole thing with those congressional aides and stuff in Congress. I'm like, I mean, I can't lie. Like, I would also be tempted to be like, I wonder if I can bang somebody in like the congressional chambers. Like, that'd be pretty epic. But I wouldn't film it, morons.
I mean, you have to have proof, number one, right? So there might be some pictures, maybe a short clip of a video.
Yeah, but you don't.
But you're not going to post it online.
Yeah, that's like the dumbest.
It's going to be like your 8 or 10, 12 person down as fuck homie group chat.
Yeah, that's it. They're going to be like, no way. Oh my God. And you'll be like, yeah. Okay, fine. Like, I get that. I totally get that. But like posting it online for the world to see when like it's a blatantly illegal thing that you're doing is a stupid idea.
Yes. And especially like that.
Yeah.
Like that act also is just, it's the world's not ready for that. Thankfully.
Oh my God. I mean, I loved that even like people on the left were going, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, that was a little far.
Yeah, like what?
Yeah. And it's okay. And it's two extremes. We have that right now. And then we have the guy in Iowa that beheaded the Satanist statue.
Yeah, who's getting arrested for it?
Who's getting arrested for it? And then like he put up a give, go, saying, "Hey, I have some legal stuff," and within like 7 hours or something like that, he had 20 grand, and now it's way high. I don't know what it is now, but it's probably getting close to 50 for his legal fund. But I mean, that guy's absolutely based. And again, the complete opposite, the one side or the other. It's the extremes. No, and I know which side of those two extremes I fall on.
I personally have no problem with vandalism on government grounds, but of any kind, of anything.
Nope.
But like, I don't care. Ruin it. That's fine.
Yep.
But like the whole point of the the thing is like beheading it and going through all that effort and everything else, and now you're going to get arrested. And it's, while I understand, I also find it completely ridiculous because I'm like, but who cares? That the entire reason that exists is just to tick you off. Yes. That's the only reason that's there. None of the people who put that up actually believe any of that crap. Okay. Yes. So it's purely there just to tick you off. And you've just demonstrated that they win.
Yes.
Because they succeeded. They ticked you off with a statue. Show me on the statue where it hurt you. Okay. Like, just ignore it. Ignore the damn thing. It's pretty freaking easy.
Yeah, and the people are comparing it to what if it was a statue of the Prophet Muhammad? Tell me you don't understand anything without telling me you don't understand anything.
I was gonna say, are you kidding me? If you made a statue of the Prophet Muhammad, your life would be in danger.
Yes.
That's idolatry according to Islam.
Yes. And like that was the thread that I saw. Somebody had posted that, and the people were just ripping the person in the comments about that. And the person is like, "Oh, you don't understand the point. You don't understand the point."
No, you don't understand your own point because you're not making one. Like, if you had said, well, how would the world react if it was a statue of, I don't know, Maya Angelou?
Yeah.
That somebody beheaded. Okay, fine. Right. Or, oh, well, how would you react? How would you expect people to react if it was anything that it would make sense for somebody to make an image of?
George Floyd.
If it's a statue of George Floyd and somebody beheads it, at that point, I can understand going, well, how would you feel if that had happened? Yeah. To which my response would be, I also wouldn't care.
Like, the number of foxes is zero. The memes are fantastic.
Oh yeah.
The memes are almost as fantastic as from the Civil War trailer.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
What kind of American are you?
Yeah. That's great. Well, and the funny thing too is like, we were laughing in the chat about that movie too, where California and Texas join forces. Tell me you don't know anything about politics at all without telling me you don't know anything about politics at all.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's the only place that I can go with that mentally. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
But like I knew that film was going to be utter lefty puke-inducing garbage the moment that I saw Offerman as
Kevin Offerman,
as one of the guys on it. Like I was like, oh, because his character Ron Swanson is freaking great, right? But he is a pile of shit.
Yeah.
So like the moment I saw him involved in this, I'm like, oh, this is going to be terrible. This is going to be absolutely awful. And at no point are you going to be meant to root for any of the people who are rebelling. You are going to be meant to root for the federal government.
Yeah, it's like a couple years ago, there was another movie that came out called American Refugee. I don't know if you remember that one. It was right-wing militia takes over. Literally, literally, it was a right-wing coup. Like a national militia took over and enforcing conservative values, right? The Constitution, all that good stuff. And the entire movie was based at this farm, and hiding in the farm was a bunch of like lefties and LGBT. And they had one of these militia guys locked up in the barn. And like half of the movie was them going out to the barn and telling the guy that he was wrong because of this, because of that. Because don't you care how we feel about, this and that? What does it hurt if we're doing, this and that? And it's just like, it's so puke inducing.
Now that we've established the premise, let us climb up on our soapbox.
Yes, very much so. Yes. And I had so much hope for that movie. That was still in my my more militant days.
But I mean, like that's what this film's going to be. I guarantee you can already tell from the trailer and everything. That's all this is going to be. So if you're like, yeah, I'm going to go see, don't wait for it to come out on a streaming platform where you don't have to spend any extra money.
That's what I said. That's what I was like. I'm not going to don't get me wrong. I love action movies. I love action movies on IMAX even more because that's kick-ass, right? But I'm not going to go pay to see that movie. I'll wait for
it to come on. I guarantee you it won't be action though. It's not going to be an action movie.
I'll wait for it to come on Prime.
Yeah. But it's not going to be an action movie. What it's going to be, I guarantee you this trailer is exactly the same thing as what they did with Jarhead, which made me laugh. Like when I saw the Jarhead trailer, I started laughing, openly laughing. And somebody else who had never read the book was like, why are you laughing? I'm like, they're trying to make it look like a war movie. And they're like, why? What is it's not? I'm like, no. The entire thing exists within his head. It's about the trauma of military training and being trained to do a thing that you then never do. And like the way that your psyche breaks when you're that bored, like that's what it's about. It has nothing to do with actual combat.
Yeah, man,
there's no actual combat in it.
Yeah. All they did was hump and dig foxholes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Which is 90% of war, to be honest with
you. Especially that particular war. But again, the extremes, right? With the Civil War, the complete opposite side, we have lady ballers.
I've seen that pop up on some streaming services, but I haven't actually checked it out yet. I heard it's funny.
Oh God, what is his name? The little fucking shit stain. I can't remember his name.
Oh, that narrows it down. Little shit stain in Hollywood.
Yeah, the whole thing is it's about male athletes competing against females. That's the whole thing. It's male athletes competing against females.
Okay.
Female quote unquote female athletes competing against females. Ben Shapiro. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. He's one of the main characters in it. Yeah.
I mean, I heard it was funny from several people that at least is comedic. But
exactly. It's the other end of the cringe.
Yeah.
Right. You know, the cringe window opens one direction and the other.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's a movie that came out years ago called oh god, what's it called? It had Macaulay Culkin in it, and it was like he was at like a Christian high school. God, what is it called?
It's your story, bro.
But when that movie came out, like I remember pointing out to a bunch of people, like it's taking a lot of really well-deserved shots at not just Christianity, but like at the Pentecostal movement of Christianity that deserves all of those shots. And like it was really funny. I laughed my way through that entire film, and I had so many people get so mad at me for laughing at that. And I'm like, but all of these shots are deserved. Like somebody needs to point out how ridiculous you are before you're going to notice how ridiculous you are.
The Good Sam or Good Son?
No,
I think Good Son was the thriller with the stepson.
Yeah. That's way before this movie came out too.
Yeah.
Way before this movie came out. He's like in a wheelchair in the movie. God, I want to say it's like called it. Like it's actually like called like Hallelujah or Praise Jesus or something like that. I don't remember, but like in the story, like this chick who's I think Macaulay Culkin's sister, like decides she's gonna have sex and she gets pregnant, and it's this big thing. But it's the whole film is pretty damn funny,
Saved.
Saved. There we go. That's what it's called. It's called Saved.
Yeah.
Yes. Definitely worth a check out if you haven't seen it. It is really funny, but it takes a lot of really deserved shots at Christianity and at a sect of Christianity that deserves to be made fun of constantly, endlessly, every chance you get.
On that note,
can you tell how I feel about the Pentecostal movement yet?
On that note, you want to talk about an article related to that entirely?
Sure.
That is worthy of getting a shot taken at every chance he gets.
Yes, for sure.
Hunter Biden spent $872,000 on hookers, porn, and sex club memberships.
Dude, that's living your best life right there, man. I tell you what.
Hunter Biden spent hundreds of thousands on, quote, constant partying, according to prosecutors in the indictment that hit the president's son with a total of 9 tax charges. The indictment brought in California. Alleges Biden spent money on prostitution, online pornography, and hiring luxury cars, among other things, including a $10,000 sex club membership.
That's a nice sex club.
It states money was spent on, quote, drugs, escorts, and girlfriends, luxury hotels and rental properties, exotic cars, clothing, and other items of personal nature. In short, everything but his taxes, end quote. A total of $1.4 million in taxes was allegedly evaded, and Biden faces up to 17 years behind bars. He is accused of, quote, willfully avoiding paying his taxes, and faces 3 felony charges and 6 misdemeanor charges.
I mean, I gotta say, like, don't get me wrong, the dude's a pile of shit, right? But like, motherfucker knew how to party.
Yeah.
Damn, son.
The charges relate to a time between 2016 and 2019. 2016-2019, right? 3 years. A period which Biden had acknowledged he was addicted to alcohol and crack cocaine. A total of $1.6 million was taken from cash machines during this period.
Motherfucker, you can afford to pull $1.6 million out of ATMs and you're addicted to crack?
Man.
What
talk about partying below your tax code, bro.
Yeah, like, dude, why are you not addicted to, like, real white people cocaine? What is wrong with you?
Yeah. Oh.
You got to go for the Ronald Reagan special? You're not going for the real coke?
Yes.
You have $1.6 million to pull out of ATMs. What the hell?
Okay. The total payments listed on the indictment amount to $4,907,813.
I love that one of the categories in his
Is-
spending is various women.
Various women. What?
Which he spent $683,000 on.
Various women.
Various women.
$53,000 on advisors from Wells Fargo. Bro, you did not pay attention.
I was going to say, and on top of that, again, you can pull $1.6 million out of ATMs and you're taking financial advice from Wells Fargo?
Apparently, he did not take financial advice at all.
Bro, like, he did make his credit card payments though, so I mean, props to him.
Yeah, you don't want to lower that credit score.
$71,000 on rehab. Well, that worked well. Definitely money well spent. I mean, he might have said okay when they said go to rehab, but when they asked, he said if it worked, he said no.
188,960 on adult entertainment.
188 grand on
Think about
strippers.
that. Think about 3 years. He spent, let's see, 2016, 2019. He spent what is it? 40 grand a year on quote adult entertainment.
Dude,
that's over was that over $1,000 a month?
He was sending some of those single moms kids to private school. Like, goddamn.
Yeah. No, what is that? 36 months. So 40 grand a month or whatever it is, $4,000 a month. I don't know. I can't math right now.
That's $188,960 divided by 36 months. That is $5,200 a month.
Five grand a month on quote adult entertainment.
Dude, I wish I had $5 grand a month to spend on adult entertainment. I'd be living my fucking best life. Tell you what,
that dude put some girls through college.
He like I said, I mean, there are some strippers that now have their kids in private school because of Hunter Biden. All right, like,
yes. I want to know what various. Yeah, Aiden, Jaden, Hayden.
Yeah, they're now in private schools because of.
Hey, but their moms earned that dental hygienist degree.
No, they didn't. They all dropped out, just became CNAs. Let's be honest. We know.
I want to know what various women means.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious what various women means as well. Like, are you implying that they're escorts? Because if they are, I feel like that would be cheaper. Like,
it depends on the appetite.
I mean, I guess, but like, unless it's like hookers who you're like, hey, I want us to cut each other's toenails in a big vat of Pepto-Bismol. I don't think that they're going to charge you.
What? Hold on. I wasn't ready for that.
Oh.
That just like my train of thought just went East Palestine and just.
It's, if you've ever seen the movie Rat Race, all right, like it's you get it, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know of too many hookers that are going to charge you enough that within 36 months you rack up 680 grand.
Even if it was, let's say all of 2016 through all of 2019, right? So let's even go 4 years. 4 years on 683,212. Whoo. That's that's a lot of money on various women.
Like I said, like there's no way, because like let's be honest, right? Hookers are cheaper than hookers are far cheaper than like actual like women that you're just like trying to keep, right? Way cheaper. And that either means that he is like, hitting up the kind of hookers that Jordan Belfort would have been hiring.
Yeah, these aren't John McAfee hookers.
Yeah, and like he's either hitting them up, in which case, like, wait, you're gonna spend extra money on the extra nice hookers, but you're still addicted to crack.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, at least if it was regular cocaine, I'd have a measure of respect for the man. Like, but like crack, like, you're the trashiest of trashy. Like, dude.
Yes.
Millions of dollars and it's crack. Like, come on. The same stuff that Joe Bob in the trailer park is burning in his freaking 89 F-150. Like, really?
It's an 86 Fiero.
Yeah. His 86 Fiero that he likes to drive back and forth past the high school with, you know, like
with the Pepto-Bismol fetish.
I'm telling you, it's in Rat Race. I'm just saying, it's you gotta go back and watch the.
I don't want to go back and watch that now.
Oh, it's such a good movie, though.
So, yeah, I mean, it's not John McAfee numbers by any means, but I mean, props to the guy for living.
I mean, yeah, like I can't object to the fact that like Hunter Biden knew how to party, right? Like that dude knew how to party. Like, I think he's a sleazeball and a pedo and a piece of shit.
Yeah,
but knew how to party.
Yeah, I mean that's that's an entire brigade worth of Marines type of numbers, type of spending. I mean that's way up there.
That is, I mean, between 683 grand on various women and 188 grand, almost 189 grand on adult entertainment.
Yeah.
Like, bro, that's
doing numbers.
200 grand on groceries and restaurants.
And he's not eating it because he's on fucking crack.
Yeah, like what?
When's the last time you saw a person high on crack eat something?
I mean, I don't really hang around with people who are high on crack, so I guess
that's
I wouldn't know.
That's because you don't live in a major metropolitan area like I do.
Well, yeah, nor would I ever.
Please save me.
for exactly that reason. I don't need to run into a crackhead at 4 a.m. outside of Circle K who wants to fight me if I don't give him $2.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to give that man any money. He's just going to spend it on drugs and alcohol. And I mean, that's what I have the money for. So
that's true.
That's true. But like, I love the $300,000 for educational purposes. Shouldn't that be lumped into the various women because he was probably the educational purposes was sending their kids to private school?
This is how not to catch VD.
Yeah, like, good Lord. I mean, so the total payments $4,900,000.
Yeah. It's right at $5 million over a 4-year period. And pulled $1.6 million from ATMs.
Still smoked crack.
Had all those dollar bills. None of them rolled up.
Dude. Like, I mean, that's like a lost opportunity.
Yep.
Can't snort crack off of things.
I mean, yeah, okay.
You can. It's goo.
We're moving on. Hunter Biden's lawyer says the gun ban he violated is unconstitutionally, wildly flouted, and rarely enforced.
Do it.
FPC, Firearms Policy Coalition. They are solidly in Hunter's corner on this one, saying, yes, that law is entirely unconstitutional. Which, like, on the surface, you're like, what the? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Take your opportunities when you can.
Yeah, in this instance, like, first of all, I do want to point out with that previous article, do not fault Hunter Biden for not paying any taxes. No one should pay any taxes. Props to him for that.
Yes.
Also,
although there's a real good chance that money came from the taxpayers.
Well, not necessarily taxpayers of the United States.
That's true. That's true.
That came from Ukraine. Let's be honest.
Ukraine and China. And what was the other one? Mexico, I think it was. I don't know. Either way. So
I also can't fault anybody who defrauds China. So
that's true. Or Ukraine. Or
Ukraine.
Mexico. Or Mexico.
Well, I objected a little bit to Mexico. Like, I like Mexico, but Ukraine can go fuck itself, and China can definitely go fuck itself.
Yes. In the book that I'm reading, China forces Japan to launch a surprise attack on the west coast of California.
Ah, yes, because surprise attacks by Japan against the United States historically work out well for Japan.
Yes, that's why they were. Yeah.
And
the United States also carpet nuked bomb the entire Middle East because the Middle East set off a nuke in New York City. So,
I mean, that would solve some problems, create new ones.
A lot of problems. Yes.
But it would solve a few in the short term.
Oh, it solved a lot of problems. It solved like 1 billion problems. According to the book.
Except it's going to create 1 billion more at that point because you've also just irradiated a huge amount of oil reserves and like committed genocide. And
India was very upset at us, and they used China used that to get India to make them weapons.
Well, and don't forget, India is a nuclear nation.
Yes. They launched nukes at Pakistan. And Pakistan launched nukes at India also.
I say, who's also a nuclear nation.
Yeah. It's a very interesting book. There is so little dialogue in this book. So little dialogue in this book.
See, I don't like that. Like, that's what I like about Tom Clancy and John le Carré and stuff, is they have tons of dialogue, especially John le Carré. If you've never read John le Carré, you should.
So Hunter Biden's lawyer this week asked a federal judge in Delaware to dismiss 3 gun charges against him, all of which based on the purchase of a revolver in 2018 when he was a crack cocaine user. They claim the president's son is a victim of, quote, selective and vindictive prosecution, driven by political pressure on special counsel David Weiss from the Republican members of Congress, which they argue also violates the separation of powers. But in making the case, the motion that the federal ban on gun possession by illegal drug users is constitutionally dubious, widely flouted, and rarely enforced. Yeah, absolutely. There are millions of cannabis users that would love to see this law ruled unconstitutional. So I'm all for it.
I mean, remember when this first happened? If you remember when this first happened and it was first announced that was going to be his strategy, and we all were like, eye twitching, like, am I a supporter of Hunter Biden? What's happening? I mean, do I agree with Hunter Biden here?
Hold on. Okay. $690,000 on various women and other spending, and he's going to get a gun law ruled unconstitutional.
I mean, I still think he's a sleazeball, but like, he's a sleazeball I might consider partying with. Like,
I mean, he's no again. John McAfee is the bar, right? John McAfee is the bar. Hunter is well below the bar.
Oh, he is. He will never rise to that level of awesome.
No,
ever. No. But like, dude, it's kind of hard to argue with. Like, yeah, I spent almost $200,000 on strippers, and then also another almost $700,000 on these other chicks,
various women, quote unquote.
Yeah,
women. Yeah.
Still points off for
pulling $1.6 million from ATMs.
I mean, still points off for having millions of dollars to spend and winding up addicted to crack.
And I bet he didn't have a single sliding bookcase or hidden door.
Yeah, like,
no. What's the point? What's the point in having millions of dollars if you don't have a bookcase that moves or a hidden door.
Dude, one of the founders of National Lampoon once had a bust of George Washington made out of compressed cocaine in his hotel room for a party. Like, that is how you get addicted to a drug, man. Like, that is what you do when you have millions of dollars. You don't wind up buying stuff out of a trailer park or the back of like an 89 Caprice. Okay. That is not what people with millions of
It was
dollars
an
do
86
for their drugs.
Fiero. 86 Fiero.
Like that's what the guys, the workaday drug addicts do, man. Like, you have millions of dollars, like, buy actual cocaine.
Yes. Oh, but Dave's in the chat, popping patches. Dave just dropped a flannel daddy patch.
Epic flannel daddy patch.
It's a very good looking patch, and he shared a story on his Instagram of a airsoft rocket launcher that I want for entertainment purposes.
That could be entertaining as hell.
Go watch the video. It thuds. There's an audible thud when it hit the target. So it'll be fun. But yes. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, the Carl Gustav. He sells them now. Awesome.
Gustav. Yeah. So as far as the article goes, they claim that his gun purchase violated 18 USC 922 G3, which makes it a felony for, quote, an unlawful user of any controlled substance, end quote, to receive or possess a firearm. Yeah. And since Biden falsely denied illegal drug use on the form he filled out when he bought the gun, he's also charged with violating 18 USC 922A6, which applies to someone who knowingly makes a false statement in connection with a firearm transaction, and 924A1A, which redundantly applies to someone who knowingly makes any false statement or representation with respect to the information that a federally licensed dealer is required to record.
Yeah, it's that question on the back that asks if you're a drug user.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Biden's motion notes that 922 G3, quote, was recently found unconstitutional by the Fifth Circuit. In August, an appeals court overturned Section 922 G3 conviction of Patrick Darnold Daniels Jr., who was caught with 2 guns and the remains of a few joints during an April 2022 traffic stop in Hancock County, Mississippi. Applying the Second Amendment test established by the Supreme Court's 2022 decision in New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin, the Fifth Circuit concluded that Daniels' conviction was, quote, inconsistent with our history and tradition of gun regulation. So, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And we go down a little bit. Of the 132,464 criminal prosecutions under federal gun statutes between 2008 and 2017, the motion notes, quote, only 1.8% were brought under Section 922 G3. That amounted to an average of 120 prosecutions a year, accounting for a minuscule percentage of potential defendants.
And that's in light of the fact that about 70 million Americans used illegal drugs, mainly marijuana, in 2022.
Yes.
So statistically, a whole bunch of those people who smoke marijuana also own and or purchase guns.
Yes, and as Dave points out, even if it goes our way, he'll still be in trouble for lying on the form. Yes. But that'll be pleaded down. I'm sure it'll be misdemeanors. I mean, he's not going to go to jail. It's Hunter Biden. So, although he will be able to get plenty of crack cocaine in prison.
When both Donald Trump's son and Joe Biden's son are like equally pro-gun, I just don't even understand this timeline anymore.
Yes.
Like, I'm very confused.
we what's that that China may be blessed to live in interesting times.
Yes, that's a Chinese curse.
I don't feel blessed, bro. I do not feel blessed right now.
Because it's not about blessed, it's cursed. May you be
Yeah.
cursed to live in interesting times. It's a curse in
Yeah.
China to live in interesting times. And I absolutely agree with them. It is a curse. Dude, I don't want to do this. I don't want to live in this timeline anymore. This timeline sucks. I mean, it occasionally is incredibly entertaining, but
The memes are good. The memes
Yeah.
are great.
but like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's the blah 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 blah. Anything else interesting in this article?
There's nothing else interesting in it.
Yeah, I'm not noticing anything else interesting in this article.
There's nothing else interesting in it. But now that we're on interesting times, I have one for you.
No,
I have one for you.
It really is a curse. Well and truly.
2 Democratic Washington state representatives pre-filed a bill on December 5th that would make operating a gas-powered lawnmower or leaf blower a gross misdemeanor, punishable by jail time, a fine, or both.
Washington is a third world hellhole.
State Reps Amy Wallen and Liz Berry authored a bill to be considered in their state's upcoming legislative session that would ban, quote, gasoline-powered and diesel-powered landscaping and other outdoor power equipment. A group that includes common lawn care tools like lawnmowers, weed whackers, pressure washers, and snowblowers, among others. Violating the new law would be punishable, quote, by a fine of not more than $10,000 or by imprisonment in the county jail for up to 364 days or by both in each separate violation.
Tell me that you've only ever lived in urban areas without telling me that you've only ever lived in urban areas.
Yeah. Quote, gasoline-powered and diesel-powered landscaping and other outdoor power equipment. What falls under that? Chainsaws.
Yeah. Oh, and here's the best part, though. Here's
generators.
The best part. Not just generators, but all of those great big brush hogs that are used by the county and the state to take care of the sides of highways. They would fall under that, which means now, okay, well, guess what, county and state? You get to clear the brush off the side of the highway with a rinky-dink little underpowered electric mower. Enjoy.
Yes. Yes. Are you going to give our loggers electric chainsaws?
But they can't use a generator to power them. So bye-bye lumber industry.
Why are the wildfires getting so bad?
Well, Washington State's electrical infrastructure isn't much better than California's.
Yes. Okay. The bill would grant Washington Department of Ecology the authority to, quote, adopt rules to prohibit engine exhaust and evaporative emissions from new outdoor power equipment. Yeah. Under the bill, the state would require businesses to replace their gas or diesel-powered outdoor equipment with, quote, zero-emission landscaping equipment, while the bill provides a sales tax break for new equipment. New electric lawnmowers and snowblowers can cost thousands of dollars. Yeah. Duh.
Yeah. And this is because, right, these people have only ever lived in cities where the size of a lawn, the size of the things that need to be landscaped are measured in quarter acres.
Yep. We're just
they
you know what we need? We need to figure out how to make pedal power wood chippers. Like we can just get someone on their pedaling and use a gear ratio to get the wood chipper up to speed. And yes, I'm not going to finish that statement on the advice of my lawyer.
And the funny thing is like volcanoes when they belch out greenhouse gases, which they do constantly every year. Every one of those is more greenhouse gases than all gas-powered vehicles combined in the history of the world.
Did you see the article on the Daily Mail about how breathing out, that our breath, us breathing out, is contributing to greenhouse gases?
You are the carbon they seek to reduce.
Yes. Yes. You are the carbon they seek to reduce. Yes.
It's, if anything, what should be forced to be electric if they're really worried?
What's that?
Police cars.
Yes.
How many police cars just sit there and idle?
Hold on. They did that in San Francisco. And then the CHP here in California, the California Highway Patrol, also tried it. And then they stopped because the vehicles would die during a chase.
Exactly. That's why they should they should mandate that all these municipal vehicles, all these police vehicles be electric, because they just sit there and they idle for hours and hours and hours and hours every day, going nowhere and contributing to pollution. So let's mandate, we should make that a federal law, that all police vehicles, FBI vehicles, DEA vehicles all now need to be electric. And they are not allowed to have gas-powered vehicles, because, you lead from the front, right? So, like, set a good example, federal government, and you do that. That'll work out great.
President Joe Biden has made a transition to electric vehicles a key part of his presidency, spending billions of dollars both on the companies to build them and help customers afford them. The 2021 Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act included $7.5 billion to build 500,000 public charging stations across the country. Under the program, states can qualify as much as 80% of the cost to build chargers and bring them online. But as Politico reported this week, not a single charger funded by the program is yet operational.
What a shock. Government programs don't work.
$7.5 billion to build 500,000 public charging stations across the country. Not a single one has been built.
Not one.
Not one. Not one. Not one.
And the funny thing is, right, is as I talk, I have an electric lawnmower. I do want to point out, I do have an electric lawnmower. But I have an electric lawnmower because I live in the city.
Yes.
And I have a half acre, if that, to mow. And I live in a duplex, which means I don't want to have a bunch of gas and oil sitting around on my back porch all the time.
Yes.
So I just have an electric one. And my biggest complaint about it is constantly that if I don't remember nonstop all winter to keep swapping those batteries for the lawnmower out on the charger, they'll die for good.
Yeah.
I already have one that died on me. Like, they'll die for good. And, a lot of these electric lawn instruments and stuff have proprietary batteries. So it's not even like you can swap them. And like, if you get the generic ones and anything goes wrong, then there's no warranty on it. But like, I love the idea of an electric lawnmower. Don't get me wrong. I love it. I think it makes way more sense than a gas powered lawnmower, at least for a push mower. It makes way more sense. Way more sense.
First, for the smaller lot, it's just, it's less maintenance. It's less everything. It's easier. It's almost for a small lot.
Yeah, it's almost zero maintenance. They're incredibly lightweight. They're quiet. And if anything goes wrong with it, I have the battery and a motor.
Yep.
That I need to replace.
Yeah, we call those homeowner grade, quote unquote homeowner grade. But for commercial use, right? For industrial use, it's not feasible.
Not only that, but like, let's say I live out in the country and I have 8, 9, 12 acres to mow.
Yes.
You're going to tell me that I can't have a gas powered ride-on lawnmower?
Yeah. Nope,
Like,
can't do it.
this is ridiculous.
What's that? Your power went out? Oh, don't you dare use that gas-powered generator.
But of course, if your power goes out and then you don't mow your lawn, we're also going to fine you for not keeping your lawn pretty.
Yep.
Better get out there with a pair of scissors.
Yep. No. That's because you live on the side of a goddamn hill, Chris.
I'm going to say, Chris, you don't even count. And actually, you would love using an electric lawnmower on your lot because they're so lightweight that on a hill, it's just freaking fabulous. Yeah. And mine's huge too. Like mine is a badass electric lawnmower, but it was also like $500.
Yeah.
And the batteries are $140 each.
Yeah, there you go. There's a good one right there. Yeah, Dave says took me 8 hours to mow the new house lawn with the push mower. Had to buy a ride-on mower the first week here. Yeah. Electric would work fine here because I have like 200 square feet of grass.
You can just use a weed whacker at that point.
Yeah.
Just wave it back and forth as you go along the little strip.
I get a goat.
Yeah, I mean a goat would work fine, you know. But then they complain about the goat farts.
Then they complain about the goat farts. Yep.
But yeah, I love this article. $7.5 billion 2 years ago, and not a single one of these charging stations.
Nothing has been built now. Let's see. Earlier this year, the Environmental Protection Agency mandated that by 2030, half of all vehicles sold in the U.S. must be electric. They will require an enormous ramp up of resources, especially around charging infrastructure. Okay, California. California has so many electric vehicles that the state ran a $6 billion deficit on its gas tax compared to the previous years. They collected $6 billion less in gas tax money because of electric vehicles. We have constant blackouts and brownouts that roll through because the infrastructure cannot handle the increased number of charging stations and electric vehicle home chargers. But yet we're required by law to do that without any investment into the actual infrastructure behind it.
Well, yeah, because they don't like, they want to put all of the onus on the consumer.
Yes.
But they don't want to have to support those decisions in any appreciable way, which is kind of the way politics always goes, right? Like politicians want to demand that you, the citizen, do something, but they don't want to have to do anything to support that.
Yeah. Scott says that if they really want to be green, there were lawnmowers long ago that had no motors. Yeah, push motors. Push mowers were fucking crazy. And he said they'd probably help with the obesity problem too.
You know, growing up, I always had to use the mowers with the barrel thing with the turn the blade thing.
Yep.
Yeah. And like I always had to use those. Yeah. Yep. And you'd have to go over the same spot 8-12 times in order to actually cut it properly. But like that's what I had to use.
If the vegans crawled around on the grass and grazed, it would cut back on their grocery bills.
I mean, it would.
It's organic. It's organic.
Yeah. Actually, to this point, so to build off of the $7.5 billion article and what we were just talking about, there's an article that's been going around that I think is freaking awesome. It says electric vehicles and gas-powered pickups are the least reliable vehicles sold in America, according to Consumer Reports 2022 Annual Auto Reliability Survey. Hybrids and gas-powered sedans are the most reliable.
Yep. Not only less reliable, but they also do more damage to the roadways because they're heavier.
Yeah. It says every year the consumer advocacy nonprofit asks its members about problems they've had with their vehicles in the past 12 months in 17 trouble areas, including issues with car engines, transmission, electronics, fit and finish issues, among others. They then use that information to predict reliability ratings for new cars from every major automaker for every model sold in the US. Consumer Reports gathered data on more than 300,000 vehicles from 2000 to 2022. And a few on 2023. It says in order, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, of the models surveyed, EVs and hybrids are some of the most desirable and in demand, but the reliability ratings are at the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yes, they suck.
They're awful. How many people have heard about Teslas getting hard bricked? Right, you can hard brick your fucking car.
Not only that, but when they catch fire, they have a really, really, really difficult time putting them out because it's an electrical fire. So the water required to put out an electric vehicle fire, I think is like 12 or 15 times more than that of a regular vehicle fire. And because it's an electrical fire, it can reignite. Like there's videos of police or firefighters pushing electric cars into like swimming pools in order to put out just to smother the electrical fire. There was one, I think it was in the spring, or maybe it was last summer, a Tesla caught fire and they pushed it into a swimming pool and they left it in there for like 3 days. And when they went to pull it out of the swimming pool, it started back on fire.
On average, so that you know what the number is, 60,000 gallons is the amount of water that it takes to put out an electric vehicle fire. They also are far more likely to catch on fire and significant impacts. In fact, according to Dr. Christopher Kramer, Senior Vice President, Chief Research Officer for University of Utah Research Institute, he said oftentimes it only takes a hit to a battery with a sledgehammer and it's probably going to catch fire.
And again, because the vehicles are so much heavier, when they get into accidents, they cause more damage.
Yeah. Apparently in 2017, a United Airlines flight from San Francisco to Jackson had to declare an emergency because of a battery fire from the headlamp of a EV that was on board. Over the past year or a few years, 11 people have been killed in New York City alone from electric vehicle fires. Last year, 5 people died in Vancouver, Canada, as a result of fires caused by lithium-ion batteries.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good time.
So, so roughly 10,000 gallons or less is generally what it takes to put out a fully involved regular car fire. 20,000 to 60,000 is what it takes to put out an electric vehicle fire. But this also says that body, hardware, steering, suspension, paint and trim, climate systems, all are issues, including on Teslas. One of the things I found really interesting that Consumer Reports thing actually mentions, though, is that hybrids seem to be more reliable than gas cars.
I can see that. Less wear and tear.
It's a combination of less wear and tear, and that hybrid technology has been around so long now that it's been fully developed and it's working well.
Well, I mean, honestly, traditionally, the electric vehicles were like way back in like the 1910s, 1912, something like that, right? But it's a different technology than we have now. Yes.
Well, the first cars ever were actually electric, long before internal combustion cars. Yeah. They had electric cars. And
they had huge, like 60-pound batteries that they would use a crane to pull out of the vehicle and put new ones in.
Like 600 pound.
Yeah, crazy.
Well, the entire center of the vehicle is basically the battery.
Yeah.
But like Jay Leno has a really fabulous example of a really, really great early electric vehicle. And if they still made electric vehicles like that, I would absolutely buy one. Because it's like got like just like a couch. It's like a living room on wheels, man. It's freaking fantastic.
Okay. Back to the other article. It said blah, 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 blah. The federal program is off to a slow start. Political reports that more than $2 billion, that's 2 out of the 7.5, has been given out. Only 2 states, Ohio and Pennsylvania, have actually broken ground on chargers, while just 6 others have been awarded contracts. Fewer than half of the U.S. states have even submitted a proposal for funds.
Well, and here's the thing, right? It's what it all boils down to right now is the only reason that electric cars are even a thing right now, really, that's in demand or anything else. The only reason is because of government programs, right? The only reason that Tesla was able to hang on was because of government funding.
You see, Elon's upset that the government won't give him $100 billion in subsidy for his next project.
Of course he is.
Of course he is, right?
Of course he is. But I mean, like, that's the only reason why Tesla was able to hold on, right? Like when the Roadster was being developed, they ran out of money like 4 times.
Yeah.
And it was government bailouts that kept them going.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Subsidies. Woohoo.
It's
that's what the farmers in France are complaining about now. That's why they're dumping manure and the government buildings, is because the government is late in paying the farmers their subsidies.
Well, it's not just late. It's a little more complicated than that.
Yeah.
It's not just that they're late in paying their subsidies. It's that the reason why the farmers get the subsidies is because the government has so overtaxed farming that otherwise they can't make a damn dime.
Yes. All right. I got a hidden article I didn't tell you about.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Okay. I won't read the title. A Pennsylvania man is taking Oliphant Borough officials to court after a sign he erected on his property was deemed illegal, allegedly infringing on his First Amendment right. As a Marine veteran, David Biller, his attorney said, understands how important it is to express one's criticism of the government as its foundation of American values that soldiers have died to protect. After glowing frustrations with local government officials over the past several years, Biller and his family wanted to speak out by erecting a 4-by-8 foot sign in front of their house.
Amen, sir. Amen.
It is a sheet of plywood. It is a sheet of plywood erected on the banister of the porch. It is painted white, and in big red letters it says "Fuck the government."
I love when a slogan is simple and easy to understand.
By whatever could he mean? But he has a yellow and blue Ukrainian flag next to it, which is weird.
Still a
Marine,
deep-throating.
Yes. Borough officials would not let that stand. Oliphant Borough officials sent a notice to the Biller family informing them that they were in violation of the borough's sign ordinance. The Billers were told that if they did not take the sign down, they would be taken to court and could be fined $500 for each day if a judge finds that they were in violation of the sign ordinance. The family also claims that they were targeted by local government, as other homes in the neighborhood have what appear to be signs and did not receive a permit to post. The borough only permits residents that have one sign on their property, which cannot be larger than 6 square feet and must be submitted to the borough for approval. Yeah, quote, that's a large political sign for a candidate or party for a religious sign that would be unlawful under this ordinance, and it's a violation of the First Amendment. That's according to attorney Eric Sell with the Center for American Liberty, which represents the Biller family. Residents are also required to pay $40 to erect the sign and must wait an unspecified amount of time for the government to review and approve the sign permit.
Yeah, there's no way this passes constitutional muster.
Yes. While residents are required to go through the process, the borough is not subject the ordinance and permitted to post any of the signs as it wants. According to Sell, the Biller family is taking the borough to court because they feel the ordinance infringes on their freedom of speech. Yes.
Yep. Yeah,
Yes.
it's on their property. It's entirely on their property, and they are expressing themselves well within their First Amendment rights. There's no way.
It's
this
entirely
stands
on their
up.
property. It's on the porch railing of their house.
Yep.
Right? It's literally you can even make the argument and say, oh, it's a safety thing because it's the railing. It's preventing people from falling over the railing or whatever BS you want to classify that as. But yeah, they're just upset that it says fuck the government.
Yeah. The government is upset that somebody said fuck them. Oh no. But no, this is absolutely First Amendment protected speech, and there ain't a damn thing they can do about it. But how many times do we cover shit like this where this happens again and again and again, where somebody speaks out against the government with a sign on their property, and then the government goes, that's a violation of the ordinance, except it's not. It's not advertising. It's not advocating for a specific political candidate. You can't regulate it, you tyrannical fucks.
Remember a couple years ago, we covered that article. I think it was out of New Hampshire or Massachusetts, where they told the guy he couldn't put a sign, so he erected a statue of a giant middle finger.
A 21-foot tall middle finger.
Yes. And one.
Yeah. And was like, ha.
Oh, there you go. All right. We missed that one. Yeah. Dave says they only want the fucking to happen in the Senate chambers. Oh.
Except they don't even want that to happen. Like, even the American political left is like horrified by that. And like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yes. No. I just had to bring that up because I thought it was funny. We don't really need to go into all that.
Yeah. Dave, you missed out on the beginning of this where you're talking about the fact that the only people who keep sharing those images of that video are, in fact, conservatives who just keep sharing it. And it's like, can you stop? Seriously, please? Just
Speaking of being fucked by the government, we have a Daniel Banyai update. Okay, so when we last talked to Daniel Banyai, or talked about Daniel Banyai, it was an article a little bit ago that he had said that he complied and that he was going to allow he allowed an inspector, the mayor, and like a police officer or something like that to walk around his property to determine whether or not he was in compliance with the judge's orders. Right? I think that was the last update we talked about. I feel like it is. Anyway, so that happened.
Well, yeah, and that's when we called him a pussy and an appeaser, and that he wussed out.
Yes. A judge has again issued an arrest warrant for the owner of a former firearms training center in Vermont, ruling that he is in contempt of court for failing to bring his property into compliance after an inspection last week.
Because he allowed the inspectors on his property. Because he gave in. And once you give a mouse a cookie.
Yes. And it's not like they would walk the property and be like, okay, well, that one's a little bit out of compliance. Okay, that's not a big deal. Just fix that. No, because he said no, because he dragged it out, because he told them to fuck off to their face, they went in with a white glove. Literal, with a literal white glove.
And we all knew that was going to happen, and he had to have known that was going to happen, right? Like, you know that's going to happen.
Yes.
At this point, if you defied them at all because you didn't crumple like tissue paper the instant that they demanded that you did, you know that they're going to come at you as hard as they can, no matter how. They will find a way to come at you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Quote, respondent has failed to do so. As such, imprisonment is an appropriate coercive remedy in these circumstances. That is from Vermont Environmental Court Judge Thomas Durkin. The property, known as Slate Ridge, included multiple buildings and 2 firing ranges. After complaints from neighbors, the town attempted unsuccessfully for several years to get the facility owner, Daniel Banyai, to remove structures he built without a permit. In March 2021, Environmental Court ordered Banyai to end any firearms training at the center and remove unpermitted structures. The Vermont Supreme Court rejected Banyai's appeal in January 2022. Earlier this year, the Vermont House and the Vermont Senate passed a law that the governor signed that bans all, quote, militia training in the state of Vermont. So,
yep.
Yes. Last February, the Environmental Court issued a scathing order that Banyai was in contempt of court for deliberately flouting series of court orders issued since the legal case began. At the time, he faced jail and fines that could exceed $100,000 if he failed to comply by June 23. So that's June 23 of this year. In July, a judge ordered that Banyai be arrested until he proves that parts of his 30-acre facility have been removed or demolished. The warrant expired after 60 days without an arrest. The Monday ruling orders Banyai to turn himself in by December 22nd. The arrest warrant was directed to the county sheriff and the Vermont State Police, but may be executed by any Vermont law enforcement officer in the state. So, in response, Slate Ridge, Vermont State Senator Philip Barrett, a Democrat and progressives from Burlington, introduced a bill in the legislation that banned paramilitary training centers in the state. The bill passed and was signed in May by Republican Governor Phil Scott. So we knew this was going to happen. He let them in, and they came in and said, "Okay, we still don't like this." And then they went to the judge, and the judge said, "I still don't like this. We're going to throw you in a cage now for using your property as you see fit." So, damn it, Daniel, you knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, you had to have known the moment that you gave in that they were not going to let up until they have you rotting in a cell.
Yes, you owned it. I can almost guarantee that this guy knows who Ammon Bundy is.
Oh yeah,
right. You cannot look at Ammon Bundy and go, "Oh, that's a similar situation to mine. Oh, the government will be totally fair with me this time." No, it's not going to happen.
The government is never going to be fair with you. The government does not care about fairness.
Especially in a progressive state like Vermont.
Yeah.
They fucked Ammon Bundy over in Idaho. Right? In Idaho, they did that to Ammon Bundy.
In the redoubt.
They took his house. By the way, they took his fucking house.
Yeah, if that can happen to Ammon in the redoubt, nowhere is safe. If you give in to them at all, right? Like I said, if you give a mouse a cookie, the moment that you start giving in to them, they know they have you on the ropes. They have you on the back foot.
Yep.
And like any good boxer knows, once your opponent starts out stepping onto his back foot, you don't stop hitting him until he goes down.
No, wrong think, man. That's what it is, right? It's wrong think. You hold the wrong principles.
You are a danger simply because of what you believe. And they do not seek to coexist with you. They do not seek to tolerate your viewpoints. They seek to eradicate you.
They passed a state law in response to you telling inspectors no. And you think you're going to get a fair shot in the state?
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, man.
You are the reason for a law.
Not a safety brief. We're not talking about a safety brief here, right? That's one thing. Being the reason for a safety brief was one thing. Being the reason for a news story is one thing. You were the motivation for a state law, and not a small state law, right?
Yeah.
They literally banned, quote, paramilitary training in the state because of you. That's literally any shooting school. They banned shooting schools in the state. They still have concealed carry schools, right? But that's all that they can teach is concealed carry. Anything beyond that is, quote, paramilitary training.
Yeah, any advanced tactical pistol, any advanced rifle, any tactical rifle, any two-gun training facility.
TCCC. TCCC is paramilitary training. That's tactical combat casualty course for those paying attention at home. So.
It's they banned everything because they see anybody who knows how to do that stuff as a threat, which they should because we are. But either way,
yes.
Yeah, the people that we're training how to beat is you.
Yes.
But like that's the thing. Like these are people who do not seek to coexist with you. They do not seek to tolerate your viewpoints. They're not going to give you a little bit. They're not going to go, well, I mean, if you can at least do this, I guess we'll be okay. No, their end game is your eradication.
Yes, you are a threat to their existence. Your way of life is a threat to their existence. And they have the power. And you let them onto your property expecting a fair shot?
That was never going to happen, dude. That was never going to happen.
It was never going to happen. No. And you were already to the point of winning, right? There was an arrest warrant issued for you. And you stayed on the property and told them no. And the arrest warrant expired. And the judge refused to send out a new arrest warrant. So you were winning. You were winning. Like you were literally winning, and you let the enemy into your base, expecting the enemy to be like, all right, yeah, you did a good job.
Yeah, that's not an option. Like the time, right? The time when you could be somebody who is a kind of sort of rebellious was 5 years ago.
Yes.
That time is past. The government does not play. If you were even a little rebellious, they will come at you. So you either, like, that's the thing is, you know, we talk about how, you know, gold is purified by fire, and like, that's it, man. Like this is still fire. The fire hasn't gone out. It isn't like once they stopped really, really actively going after Boog Boys that magically they gave up. Right? Like they just got less obvious about it because we got less obvious.
They're still there.
It all just went slightly more underground, but the reality is that people need to face.
To be fair, they're focusing on the January 6th insurrection. The greatest threat to our democracy.
with the like the Meemaw with crying, standing there after she got maced. It's a revolution. Never have those words been said in that way and been convincing. The reality is that they just got quieter and more insidious because we got quieter and went underground.
Yeah.
Like they didn't stop, and they're not going to stop. If you're even a little rebellious, they're still coming at you. They're still watching you. They're still monitoring you. They're still going to put pressure on you no matter what. They're not going to stop.
They'll just call you a Christian nationalist now.
Or they still go to right-wing extremist. Although now I keep hearing they switched it up after so many of us complained, like we're not right wing after so many of us complained about it and like kept bringing up ways that we're not right wing. Now they've gone to just anti-government extremist. And that's what I keep hearing is anti-government extremist.
Anti-government radicals.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We got one more update.
Bo, I ain't trying to be low key, dude. I'm on a podcast right now. I'm about as not low key as I could get.
Let's see. This is episode 235, so that makes 470-ish hours. That's plus what I have been on other podcasts. So I'm probably in the neighborhood of 600 hours of recorded media of me talking shit about the government and how to avoid them.
I'm not super far behind that.
Yeah. So, Gregory Lee Rodvelt. I don't know if you remember this guy out of Oregon. The guy who had his house seized and he booby trapped everything. Remember him?
I love booby traps.
70 years old. 72-year-old man who booby trapped his Southern Oregon home, injuring an FBI agent, has been sentenced to more than 12 years in prison. This was last Wednesday. Gregory Lee Rodvelt was sentenced to 150 months in federal prison and 3 years supervised release. He's not going to live that long. Describing the Williams resident as, quote, fueled by anger and bitterness, Nathaniel J. Livcherick, chief of the U.S. Attorney's Office, Eugene and Medford branch office, called the sentence, quote, a just punishment for a serious crime. Quote, the traps were no joke, added Kieran L. Ramsey, special agent in charge of the FBI Portland field office, in a press release. Quote, we are thankful that our agent and other law enforcement officers survived this vicious attempt, and we are thankful that our partners and the U.S. Attorney's Office for their diligent work in bringing justice to this case. According to the court documents, Rodvelt had lost the home in a lawsuit. After learning that someone had been appointed to take over and sell the property, he littered the house with improvised traps meant to harass and maim interlopers. On September 7, 2018, bomb technicians from Oregon State Police and the FBI went to the property in order to clear it. They arrived to find a minivan blocking the main gate with steel animal traps affixed to a gate post under the van's hood. The property also features homemade spike strips, which the court-appointed custodian of the property had run over previously. As the technicians neared Rose Rodvelt's former house, federal prosecutors recounted they found a hot tub that had been placed on its side and rigged to roll down on whoever opened the gate. Okay, first off, that is not a small hot tub. That is a giant wood hot tub.
That thing probably weighs a couple thousand pounds.
Yeah, it's good size. Windows to the house have been barred from the inside, and the only entrance to the home were security doors installed at the front and rear. The front door had what appeared to be bullet holes, prosecutors said, created by shots fired from inside the house. In the garage, technicians found a rat trap that had been, quote, modified to accept a shotgun shell. The plans for that are not hard to find on the internet. While it was unloaded at the time, prosecutors said it had been connected to the main garage door so it would be tripped when the garage door opened. The bomb technicians and two of the law enforcement officers resorted to using an explosive charge to breach the home's front door. As they picked their way inside, they found a wheelchair sitting in the front entryway. When the wheelchair was bumped, prosecutors said it triggered a homemade shotgun device that fired a .410 shotgun shell.
Surprise!
A bomb technician was hit below the knee by the blast. Officers rendered first aid, and the FBI tech had to take him to the hospital. So he was found guilty last year in federal court of assaulting a federal officer and using and discharging a firearm in relation to a crime of violence. So I thought that was a unique little update, and it made me smile.
Man, I love booby traps so much. Surprise!
Yes,
I've always loved booby traps. They're just hilarious every time. No. Pick up the teddy bear. I promise. It'll work out great.
It's fine.
Bang! Surprise!
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, Chris says, I never felt so proud of a homeowner in my life. Yeah. I mean, it was only a 410, but it was enough to get the point across, I guess.
If it could hold a 410, you know what that means it could have held?
A 12?
No, if it can hold a 410, that means it could hold a 44.
Yeah, 45 long Colt. In Minecraft, of course.
Bang! Woo!
Yes.
But I mean, like the reality is, right? Like his house was taken from him,
Mm-hmm.
and he defended it.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, if you want to take shit away from me, you're gonna have to work for it.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I don't have any issue with what he did. I don't have any issue with what he did at all.
I mean, somewhere a little Wile E. Coyote, like the hot tub, but you know,
But that's one like you have to notice, right? Like you have to notice it. If you didn't notice it, like if you just, gung ho, open that gate and there's a 500-pound wooden hot tub rolling down the wheel at you like Indiana Jones, and then you would be Wile E. Coyote spread out on the floor as the rock rolled over you.
stop running in a straight line. Turn left or right. Either.
Yes.
Run perpendicular. It's not going to swerve.
Remote controlled rolling hot tub.
It's like when people get hit by trains. I'm like, how the fuck do you get hit by a train?
I thought it was going to move.
Like, it's not going to swerve. How did you get hit by a thing that can be avoided by something as simple as
moving? Yeah.
Like that's it. You just move to the left, move to the right. It's all you gotta do, man.
You could dodge that train like George Bush dodged that shoe.
I fucking love his reaction to it though. He's like, oh,
that was the anniversary. That was the other day.
Like
15-year anniversary or whatever it was.
Like that man was such a tyrant, but just that moment when he reacts to it, he's like, oh, ha,
miss me.
Yeah, and he like is just smirking about it, like this dude just whipped shoes at his head, and he's like, "Hey, I dodged that like Neo."
like Jeb had thrown them or something.
Yeah,
like he was back at the Bush family compound.
Jeb, please clap, Bush.
Please clap. Yes,
that's my favorite. Please clap.
Please clap.
Yay!
Oh, yeah. Dave said he dodged that shoe like he had practiced. Yeah, because I'm sure Jeb was a tosser.
I'm sure lots of people have thrown shoes at him over the years, or beer bottles, probably beer bottles, knowing his background.
Oh,
you gotta love.
Chris just sent us a quote breaking news article, I guess.
Car smashes into Biden's motorcade.
Nice.
The car crashed into President Joe Biden's motorcade tonight, just as he was getting ready to step back inside one of the vehicles. Biden was walking out from his campaign office headquarters in Wilmington, Delaware, after he and the First Lady had finished eating when the incident happened. Car hit a U.S. Secret Service vehicle that was blocking an intersection near the headquarters. The car reportedly then tried to drive into the closed-off section when federal law enforcement officials surrounded the car and ordered the driver to put his hands up. Video of the incident shows Biden walking outside and talking to a heckler when the incident happened, as the crash was loud enough that it grabbed the attention of Secret Service, who quickly surrounded Biden and got him into the vehicle.
So, somebody got spicy.
And it looks like, I'm trying to figure out what kind of car that is. It looks like Hyundai, actually. Pretty sure it's a Hyundai.
Yep. Yep. Okay.
Not really going to be up to ramming an armored Secret Service Suburban. Just saying, that's not really
in a Hyundai. Yeah.
Yeah, it's unless you're doing 250 miles an hour, which is physically impossible to do in a Hyundai. You're probably not going to do much, man. I don't know what you thought you were achieving there.
Yeah, it's a statement more than anything else.
Yeah, well, I mean, it might have just been that he was an idiot or possibly drunk, or
this will give more ammo to the vehicles must have a kill switch people.
Yeah,
the lobby. Yeah. So, all right, let's talk about something important.
Haven't we been talking about important things? I feel like we have.
No, we're going to talk about bourbon.
Oh, that is important. Yes.
Yes. Let's see. American distillers brace for a huge EU tariff hike. Cedar Ridge Distillery's top product is its bourbon. Bourbon is made from corn, and there's no shortage of corn in Iowa, the top corn growing state and the world's top growing nation. The other half of the equation is what keeps Quint awake at night. For reasons completely beyond his control, the distribution channels for American-made bourbon could soon be crushed by new tariffs of 50% that the European Union has threatened to implement on January 1st. Quote, it's probably the top thing on the mind for the average distiller right now. It was retaliatory, and that's what they chose, so all we can do is try and make it go away. Okay, why do they have a tariff on bourbon? Because Donald Trump put tariffs on products from the EU, and in retaliation, the EU said we're going to put a tariff on the importation of bourbon from the United States.
Are you saying that American protectionism always goes badly for the American consumer? What? It's not like that's been proven by history time again and again and again and again and again. And again.
Dave says Iowa corn tastes like hot poop or hawk poop.
I mean, it's corn. It all tastes gross.
Let's see. He's got some help in making that happen. In a letter to the White House last week, a bipartisan group of senators called for Biden administration to seek a, quote, expedited agreement with the EU to avert the tariff increase on January 1 and to take the tariffs off the table as a long-term option in resolving the trade conflict that has nothing to do with whiskey in the first place. Quote, there are mutual benefits in finding a path forward, and our belief is that spirits and wines are a point where they can be consensus to the limit the damage for all parties, the 17 senators wrote in the letter.
Yeah, you have to remember that, honestly, that American liquor and European liquor and wines have been an ongoing war for well over 100 years.
Yes. The EU imposed retaliatory tariffs on the American whiskey, along with other quintessential American products like blue jeans and motorcycles. In June 2018, after the Trump administration unilaterally slapped tariffs on all imported steel and aluminum, Trump's tariffs were sold as anti-China measure, but covered imports from all allies like the EU and South Korea as well. The EU's retaliatory tariffs, meanwhile, occurred despite promises from Trump's top trade advisor that other countries would not respond with tariffs targeting American goods.
You mean like when Trump promised that Mexico would pay for his stupid-ass wall?
Yeah. Due to the 25% tariffs, whiskey exports to Europe fell by about 20% between 2018 and 2021. According to the Distilled Spirits Council of the United States, that is DISCUS, which lobbies on behalf of the American booze producers, the decline in foreign sales cost American distillers over $100 million.
Oh, ouch.
Yes.
Yeah, that hurts. That hurts a lot.
Yes. Because putting a tariff on steel and aluminum imports to the United States is totally helpful to the United States. I remember the whole idea was to force foundries, right, to force suppliers to come back to the United States.
Which never works.
Right?
But anyone who's ever studied history knows that doesn't work.
Not only that, but like the cost of running a business in the United States is so exuberant. It's so that like Tyson chicken, I think it's Tyson. I'm pretty sure it's Tyson.
Yeah, Tyson exports their chicken.
Tyson chicken, right? So the chickens are grown in the United States, and then they're killed and put on a boat, frozen, shipped over to China, where they're butchered and processed, and then the pieces are shipped back to the United States where they're sold. It's cheaper. It's cheaper to move the chickens to China for processing than to process here in the United States.
Why? Because of unions and Americans who go, but I want to be paid $30 an hour for the most manual pile of shit job.
Yes. And when they do find people that are willing to work in a chicken slaughterhouse for, $12 or $15 an hour, they complain about illegal immigrants, and they complain about kids taking their jobs, and they complain about not being able to make any money working these jobs.
Yeah. especially like Golden Plum. Golden Plum's a great one, right? They're a great example because they're relatively close to me and I'm very familiar with them. So Golden Plum, they do the same thing, right? The chickens get raised in the United States and then they all get shipped off to China to get plucked and processed and then shipped back to the United States for sale. This is what they do, right? Now, that didn't used to be the case. In fact, they used to have a bunch of processing plants around Wisconsin and Iowa for years, except that they couldn't get anybody to work for them except for illegal immigrants. They're the only ones who were willing to work for them. But it kept jobs in the U.S. and the illegal immigrants were spending money in the U.S. and paying taxes in the U.S. and doing these things, right? And then some neocon pile of shit decided to complain about all the illegal immigrants at the chicken processing plants. They all got arrested, sent back to Mexico and Central and South America, at which point Golden Plump went, well, we can't possibly afford to do business with actual Americans that are in America because they want way too much money. Yep. So I guess we're just going to ship our jobs to China because your idiot American protectionism doesn't fucking work and has never fucking worked, you idiot fucking neocons. Get over it. Stop with your fucking socialism. Stop with your democratic socialism. Sorry, your national democratic socialism, because let's be honest, that's what it is. Stop with that bullshit and your protectionism bullshit and just let the free market be the free fucking market. If you did that, things would go much better. But no. You want to go ahead and you want to throw tariffs on steel and aluminum, which will never be produced in the United States again because all of you fuckers can't be willing to work for less money.
Not only to work for less money, but the environmentals.
And then on top of that, there's the environmentals. There's fucking... Yeah, and you know what? And even fucking neocons. Oh, well, but I'm a union man. I should get all these fucking pensions and because deep down I'm still a communist. So you still got to deal with that fucking bullshit. Mm-hmm. And so that you're never going to bring steel and aluminum production back here. It's just not going to happen. It's like fucking trying to make fetch happen. Okay, it's not going to fucking happen. Get over it. Let it go.
And not only that, but the tariffs are directly passed on to the consumer, which makes it more expensive. Which makes it more expensive in the United States, right? So what is the answer? Get the government out of the fucking way.
Yeah, let the free market be the fucking free market. Let the free market just decide what's going to happen. And you know what? You know what the reality is? The reality is when a bunch of shit gets produced in China for next to nothing, you know who fucking wins? The American fucking consumer wins.
Yes.
Because things are cheap, and things being cheap is good for the consumer. Then you go, but are they taking our jobs? Well, they're jobs that you willingly let go when you started demanding $19 an hour to do a thing that I could train a chimpanzee to do. Mm-hmm. Looking at you, UAW, you pile of fucking shit. My grandfather worked in Detroit for decades, and he despised the UAW.
Didn't Chevy just announce that they're going to stop producing the Camaro?
Yes, and Dodge is giving up the Charger and Challenger.
Yes. Why? I don't know. Where are they made?
The reality is that the UAW killed Detroit, right? Like we all know the UAW killed Detroit. But the thing is like when somebody else can do the thing that you've been doing for years cheaper, right? You just find something else to do that you can do that they can't do. Mm-hmm. Well, America got so big manufacturing because we're the only ones who had that manufacturing infrastructure.
It's like when Lyft and Uber were becoming a thing, right? Well, we have to stop Lyft and Uber, right? Because they're putting taxi drivers out. Right, they're putting taxi drivers out. It's like, oh, we have to ban automobiles because they're putting, a chariot and wagon drivers out.
Yeah,
right.
Well, look at the .com revolution, right? Oh, well, we gotta stop all these computers and these robots because it's going to kill jobs and blah blah blah. But it's not. Just find a new job that's in computers. Find a new job. And if you can't adapt, if your country's economy cannot adapt like that and not change and not find new niches and new ways to make money, right? This is Darwinism. At that point, you deserve to collapse. Your empire deserves to die.
Yes. So Dave asks, cut regulation and minimum wage. Yes, I agree with that. But why trade with countries that use slaves? Because they're cheap.
They're real cheap.
That's what it comes to. How do we compete with that? We don't.
Don't.
Manufacturing has to be brought back to the United States somehow. Yes, I agree.
Why?
But making it more difficult to do business here in the United States does not help bring businesses back to the United States.
The reality is what is the United States good at? What can it do that other countries can't do better and cheaper?
Drop $80 million bombs on $25 tents in the Middle East.
That's about it.
Yeah.
There is no manufacturing that the United States can do better than any other country.
Nope.
None. Nada. Zilch. Zero.
Nope.
None. Right? There is none. Mm-hmm. Manufacturing, let go of manufacturing. Stop obsessing over manufacturing. Mm-hmm. It's not going to happen. Who cares? Okay?
Yeah,
Who cares?
The only way to really do that is to incentivize manufacturing in the United States. Well, how do you incentivize manufacturing in the United States? Tax breaks, right? That's a huge
tax breaks,
right?
Huge tax breaks.
Subsidies suck. I understand, but that's a part of the process. You have to make it worthwhile for them to do everything that they need to do in the United States. But because the United States is so over-regulated with the environmental regulations and the wage labor laws and this law and that law and this regulation and this oversight committee and this environmental group and this governing board.
Yeah. The reality is right?
The barriers to entry are high. Extremely like Snoop Dogg and Willie Nelson hanging out high.
Except Snoop doesn't smoke anymore, remember? So
that was for a commercial. He still smokes.
So here's the thing though, right? Here's the thing is
Snoop Lion or something like that.
Yeah, it's Snoop Lion because anyway.
Yeah,
whatever.
Anyway.
I don't anyway.
He was high when he made those decisions.
But anyway, so like my whole thing is like, oh well, how do we compete with that? The answer is you don't, you can't, you never will. Mm-hmm. Flat out, you won't. You know why you won't? You won't because labor is too expensive in the United States. Mm-hmm. The regulatory overburden is too high. The barrier to entry is too high. It will never happen. It will never happen. Until you lower the barriers to entry, you lower the regulations, you lower the cost of doing business to a point where it's competitive. All you're doing by introducing any tariffs is making things more expensive for the American consumer.
Yeah, you're hacking at the branches, right? You're hacking at the branches, right? When you should be striking the root, right? Strike the root. That's what it comes down to is you got to go all the way back to the first principle. Why is this expensive? Why is there such a lack of manufacturing in the United States, right? Why is it cheaper to do it overseas, right?
Because I can pollute the ever-loving shit out of the Yangtze River Delta and no one's going to say shit.
Yes, because the Federal Reserve just printed, what is it, like $9.1 trillion over the last 3 years and devalued the U.S. dollar. And we have inflation in double digits. Like, why is it so expensive here? Because the dollar is fucking worthless.
And America, it's time that America collapses. Like, let's be like, we are an empire that has lasted so long.
Just the other day, I want to say, was it yesterday? Yesterday, the 16th, December 16th, yesterday, was the 250th anniversary of the Boston Tea Party. Like, we have, yes.
About 250 years is the average lifespan of most empires.
Yes.
At most.
Yes.
I mean, like, Egypt's an exception, but even Egypt didn't truly last thousands of years because remember you had the Old Kingdom, the New Kingdom, the Ptolemaic. Yeah. So it didn't even truly last that long. Rome didn't last that long. Not really. It kept changing so much that it was like an entirely new empire.
Yeah.
The Russian Empire, the German Empire only lasted like 100 years. Like, I mean, the Ottomans lasted a long time.
Yeah.
The Byzantines lasted a long time. But that was mostly because there were one city. In the case of the Byzantines, like it was one city realistically. But like the reality is that empires are not long lived, and empires that try to keep extending themselves across an entire planet and thinking that they have a right to police everyone else. That's how you drain all of your resources. Empires that worry about their militaries over everything else die, and die fast, and deserve to, because what they did is concentrate on the wrong things.
What was it? 886 billion was the newest NDAA.
Yeah, and imagine, I mean, like, there's that one guy on YouTube, and he's on TikTok and stuff, who does all those videos about these companies that actually manufacture a ton of military hardware. And like Honeywell makes a whole bunch of APCs and the Crows, and they make like all this other stuff. And like, people, there's all these other companies that are, normally like just regular household product companies that make like human computer interfaces and lasers and shit. Like, every company, every major corporation you can think of, their biggest dollar business is the defense industry. Making weapons.
The pharmaceutical healthcare is the number one lobbying, and then number two is insurance, and I think defense is 3 or something like that. I don't know. I don't have opensecrets.org open in front of me, so.
But I mean, the reality is when an empire has decided that all it's going to do is focus on its military might, it's a dying empire.
Yep. So, but we have to give money to Ukraine. Yeah, we have to give money to Ukraine. And
well, it's an empire that. This is an empire that deserves to die. It deserves to go the way of the dodo, because it has outlived any right to continue to exist.
Ukraine doesn't deserve American-made bourbon.
I mean, I don't think Ukraine cares much about it. They generally drink vodka, but
vodka.
And good vodka. I've had Ukrainian vodka. It's damn good.
They don't deserve Idaho potatoes.
I mean, it burns a bit, but man, it's spicy like Ukrainian women. I mean, have you seen those chicks? Woo!
It will clean the pistons also.
It'll do that. It's a hell of a Molotov cocktail made out of that shit. Phew!
All right, let's throw some link. Let's get out of here, man.
I got beardstruggle.com, Inked Anarchist 15 if you want a discount on that. If you've been watching the show for a while, you know what they do, and they make your beard soft and wonderful. And I haven't really taken the time to manage mine today, but normally manageable. Also, Reaper brand apparel, which you'll see, wrong shoulder, you'll see right there, just over my shoulder. Also, awesome brand, awesome message, super cool guys. Link in our link tree, you get a discount and everything else. Lions Not Sheep, who are this camera makes everything backwards. There it is. Lions Not Sheep, super cool. I love their Free Man t-shirt. It's one of my favorite t-shirts. I have to be careful I don't wear it out. Super awesome, great dudes. Eventually, I do have a patch of theirs to give away at some point. We're actually gonna do that at some point. I just got to decide what I want to do for a giveaway, because none of you guys can ever follow instructions, you bunch of anarchists. Let's see who else. Coffee brand coffee. Check out Dave popinspatches.com again. Like we mentioned earlier in the show, the new flannel daddy patch, which is super, super cool. He and I have been laughing about a wonderful patch that will be a great gift for all of the EMTs in your life.
Don't Narcan me, bro.
Oh, no. It's a special little wish for them for their evening.
Yeah.
Just a little phrase. Just a little phrase that we know all EMTs and firefighters and everyone loves to hear.
Yeah.
About the night and the tone for the night.
Yeah,
maybe being quiet.
Yeah, coffee brand coffee.
Yep, coffee brand coffee. There's other people.
Yeah. Go to our link tree. Go to our link tree and find it.
check out the link tree. I would mention our case Spookware, but I think they're gone at this point. I
saw a post that he was still selling, but his website is still down, so I don't know how to contact him.
Well,
yeah.
If they ever come back, them too. But super cool.
Did you read about that fire in Ireland at the hotel?
Yeah, gosh, that's a real tragedy.
That was terrible, right? The hotel, the government comes out and says, "Hey, we're gonna put 70 migrants in this hotel in this small little town," and then
the hotel burns to the ground.
Just somehow, the hotel caught fire and burnt down. It's so upsetting. Just so terrible.
Shucks.
Oh,
hey, that's all right. Tragedy, that.
Yeah.
Act of God, I think. Who could have ever predicted?
Definitely an act of God. Laughs in Boondock Saints.
Yeah. It's if you're not following what's going on in Ireland, you probably should, because it's important.
20% of Ireland's population are not native born now. So there is that. Good times.
Ireland for the Irish. Irish lives matter.
Yes. Yes, go green. On that note, you got anything else you want to throw out there?
Shakira. Also, we're coming up on Christmas, guys. Merry Christmas.
Yes, we will not have another show this year because Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, and so we'll see you next year.
Yes, we'll see you in 2024.
And next year, oh my God, it's going to be so much fun. I can make the dad joke like when we open the show. Oh my God, I haven't talked to you all year.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm a dad. I'm a dad. I am entitled to make dad jokes.
I think though, for next year, we should plan next New Year's Eve. We should plan on doing a best of the year show and just like splice together clips of us doing various stories from throughout the year and have like a 4-hour best of show that like 4 people will watch.
We can't do a 4-hour show because of the limits on the upload for the MP3.
Really? Even for Spotify?
Yes.
God damn.
We can do a 3-hour, but we can't do a 4.
We'll do a 3-hour then. We'll have to do a 3-hour best of.
We could do 4 hours and do 2-parter. Right? We'll do 2 hours on the weekend before and 2 hours on the first weekend of.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll do that for next year so that you guys still get some episodes over the holidays.
Yeah, or you guys can just go fuck yourself. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Yeah, that too.